Juan Zavaleta suddenly embraced death in 1984 at the age of 14, when his grandfather died in his arms after a long agony while climbing the stairs of a family house. Since then, he has been trying to comprehend the ghost of death and our fleeting path through life on Earth. When he joined MFO Art Collective at the end of 1991, a profound stage of wild knowledge and raw wisdom began. Together, they swam the filthy sewers of contemporary human society, focusing in the Mexico City insane violence. Their endeavors took them into unimagined paths where they grew as a family, and as one achieved the unexpected title of one of the best expressions of Mexican contemporary art. By himself, he became mature as an artist, but at the same time wanted to keep immature as a human being, keeping a hint of innocence inside his own self. Focusing entirely in the human nature, his work headed directly to eroticism, death, violence, and the degradation of ourselves as civilization. His own influence haunts him permanently, and the repetition of the pieces and images in his installations and drawings explain our tendency to repeat ourselves in our own detriment. Part of this repetition was proven right when he was kidnapped 7 times by gangs or federal police in Mexico City, reason enough to find his way into the auto-exile in Canada. Once here, he found the horrific truth about what he calls 21st century slavery while working in one of the biggest meat processing plants in the world, based in the city of Brandon, Manitoba. This exhibition, presented for the 3rd time in Canada, is divided in 2 installations: Slaughterhouse, which is a series of hundreds of disposable paper towels with all kinds of pattern designs on them, made with pork blood, taken directly from the slaughtered carcasses. Souls of God is a collection of 22 uniforms soaked in blood that Zavaleta wore during his shifts in the clean kill floor. Both works shows precisely that phenomenon, focusing the attention of the topic in the exhausting, monotonous, and degrading repetitive work in this facility, and the tremendous impact this place had made in the local community by bringing around 10,000 immigrants from all around the globe during a period of 9 years. As part of the very first pilot program group in January 2002, he saw his new hometown changing in a sudden, and witnessed the fast emotional decadence of hundreds of Mexicans, Salvadorians, Hondurans, Colombians, Chinese, Nigerians, Ethiopians, Ukrainians, Ugandans, and many more. Counting, of course, his own physical and emotional breakdown. From his very personal point of view, he sees a deep local crisis that has been tried to be avoided and was put in agenda just recently in a superficial way. Housing, healthcare, crime, discrimination, racism, and isolation are only some of the issues he perceives as an immigrant, a father, and as an artist. This installation is his aesthetic perspective of it. It is up to the public to comprehend and assimilate such piece of serious investigation and professional artwork. Now here we go. Slaughterhouse is divided in 9 pieces, and Souls of God, Get Back to Us is divided in 22 uniforms. The full collection is 22 uniforms that, as I said, I wore during my shifts. Each uniform was used by the artist during one day's shift. Each shift, the artist would see 10,000 hogs before him on the conveyor belt, and thus each uniform represents 10,000 hogs. The entire collection represents 120,000 hogs. Slaughterhouse begins with a collection of acrylic disposable gloves that I wore during my shifts as part of the sanitary and protective equipment. This is piece number 1. Piece number 2 is called The Killer Traces. And by the way, piece number 1 is called The Killer Hands. Piece number 2 is a collection of hundreds of handprints made as a stigmata symbol during a 4-year period in which approximately 8 million hogs were killed. This exhibition is a full reference of this work. Therefore, every pedestal here, it has the rest of the samples of the entire collection. Every piece is unique, and every piece was made with real pork blood, totally fresh from the very killing taking place just few minutes before. Piece number 3, hard blood dropping. Each paper towel was exposed to 1 shift's worth of blood dropping from carcasses along a conveyor belt. Every single piece of paper represents 10,000 hogs killed in 10 hours. So in this only piece, in this only collection of blood patterns, we have the blood of at least 250,000 hogs, only here. You can see the patterns of the vertical dropping, very slowly achieved. So every towel, as you can see in this image here, every towel was left for 10 hours. Therefore, this entire piece took several months to be achieved. At least 5 months. Because many of the pieces, obviously, were not successfully achieved. And so I had to do it all over again. Let's have a look to the patterns here. And we will continue with piece number 4 in the next segment of this improvised documentary.